Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of JDM Masters, and today we are visiting a little garage, and it's not really a workshop or anything, but we've got two very special cars. One of them isn't here, and this is a exclusive first visit to Built by Legends, and we're going to be exploring what it is, so come and join us. So Built by Legends, it's a name that has been going around quite a lot. If you're following JDM Cars on Instagram, and also you can see in our previous video at our visit to Spoon earlier this year at the Spoon Collection 2020, we featured this very unique Civic SIR EG6, and it had very unique parts of carbon fiber overlays and an interesting exhaust layout that goes to the side, very much like a GT car, and it generated a lot of interest. There are a lot of people asking us what this Built by Legends was. Now, as the name implies, Legends means you're working with some of the most legendary JDM tuners, and in this case, we have Spoon, but also this car behind me. Obviously, it's a GTR, and one of the most prominent names in the tuning industry for GTR is Minds. Now, two of these names, a lot of you younger viewers who come to know JDM might have seen it in games like Gran Turismo, or you watch Best Motoring. And incidentally, we have a gentleman here today who started Built by Legends. So let's welcome Masa, Built by Legends. Thank you for having us today.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here. We've talked a lot about coming to visit you guys, and it was really exciting to see that EG6 and just seeing here in the flesh.
Unfortunately, the EG6 isn't here today.
Right.
Yeah. It's still being worked on. We still have a lot of work to do on that car.
I think it's going to be very exciting. There's a lot of one-off parts that are going into it. Could you tell us a little bit about what we could expect from the final product
For the
Civic?
For the Civic.
Yeah.
For the Civic. Well, I mean, as many of you, or you might have seen at the Spoon Type 1 shop, the car had a very interesting floor put into it.
It's carbon fiber, isn't it?
Yes, it's carbon fiber.
Wow.
Done at Opera Performance.
And Opera Performance is a very well-known, not really a tuner, but they build.
Yeah, they are more or less a chassis builder, race car builder, and Ichishima-san at Spoon, and Yamamoto-san at Opera Performance. They've been friends for a long time.
Right. And of course, the whole concept of this. Tell us a little bit about what Built by Legends is.
Well, Built by Legends is something that came up between myself, and Katsu, which is my partner, and we've been in the industry for quite a long, mostly as actually a content producer.
Hang on a second. Aren't you the guys who produced GT Channel before?
Yes, GT Channel, and then before that we were involved with producing Best Motoring and Hot Version videos for the overseas market.
Amazing.
So we were more or less the content producers, but that's how we got into the industry. But when Katsu and I were discussing things, we came up with the concept of the project that we're doing. You know, there's iconic cars. There's cars that we used to drive, cars that we wanted back then, but we couldn't buy them.
Absolutely, a lot of us do, yeah.
And, you know, dream cars. And when we were talking about that, we thought, you know, hey, what kind of car would we want to drive now, at our age? The cars back then that we grew very fond of.
And obviously one of them is a great example, the 32 GTR,
Right.
EG6.
The two iconic.
The two iconics.
Yes. And then our whole concept of Built by Legends is to build cars that we would like to drive, restore them, but not only restore them, but modify them with materials that were not available back then, modernize the materials a bit,
Right.
but still keeping the original car, the design, aesthetics.
Right. So I see it as a kind of like combining old and traditional kind of tuning, but with modern technology touches, putting them together in a very balanced way.
Right.
Finishing it with obviously, as much good taste as possible, but still keeping within the original ethos of
Yes.
old school JDM.
Yes, that's
And
a
then-
good way of putting it.
Right, refining it a little bit
Yeah.
further. That's fantastic.
And then when we think about the EG6 or the GTR, the Spoon and Mines were the tuners that we
Idolized. Yeah.
were the go-to
best.
guys
Right.
for these two cars. They know these cars, and the relationships that we were able to build over the years with Ichishima-san or Nikura-san of Mines when we were making videos or shooting their races is what is really this project is based on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we have here today behind us the almost finished 32.
Yeah, it looks finished, but we still have a lot of finishing to do. The car's just been assembled. The engine's put in, the transmission put in, but we still have to work the engine in, and then after that we'll start tuning it at Mines. We'll actually take it back to Mines.
Oh, right. And but just looking at it right now over here, it's phenomenally. It looks like a new car. It's unbelievable because you can see all the details, like all these rubber moldings on the windscreen, and it's a frameless door, so these moldings have to be done, but it just looks new. The paint's fresh, but I also notice how the dashboard is it's in immaculate condition. A lot of people like to say that today, but has this been restored to some extent?
Yes, I mean almost everything has been restored, either restored or replaced.
Replaced.
Parts that are available still new, we have replaced them. Parts that are not available, we either have restored them or built them.
Wow. So like parts that you cannot find anymore that isn't sold,
I mean,
you restore small
I'm
little
sure
parts.
a lot of people that work on cars that are 20, 30 years old find it very difficult to find parts, and the GTR or the EG6 is obviously in that category.
Right. Were there any parts that were just not possible to find anymore in the new condition?
Well, actually, the engine parts or
Yeah.
the mechanicals are fairly
Still easy to find,
easy
right?
to find.
Yeah.
New or rebuilt, fairly clean, high quality parts. But the interior is almost impossible.
Right. I'm noticing something very unique and original, and it's the seat fabrics. And you were telling me earlier that you guys are working with this manufacturer for fabrics that can manufacture the type of 90s or 80s style, very plush and woolly feel.
Yeah, what they call moquette.
Moquette.
Yes.
That's right. For those of you who don't know, moquette is more like a little carpety feel of fabric, which isn't used today.
No.
And it retains that feel. Tell us a little bit about the pattern. Let's have a look at it. You've also got the motif of the Built by Legends inside. First time actually seeing it, the unveiling of the original custom seat fabric.
So, going back to the part of our concept was that, we wanted to rebuild these JDM cars, iconic JDM cars, but we wanted to not only showcase the car, but we also wanted to showcase a lot of the craftsmanship or the work that's put in by these people
Right, right.
that build each part of the car.
I
and the
see.
seat was one of them. And of course, I mean, these seats are actually original R32 seats.
Right.
What we did was we upholstered them.
Okay, okay. Especially these days, like a lot of richer car collectors are really particular about keeping major parts of the car as original as possible. This
Right.
actually keeps the value, especially seats from the R32, 33, 34. These had a very unique shape.
Yeah.
They weren't like, for example, Evo seats or Civic Type R seats, which were basically the same SR3 Recaros. These had a very particular shape, and to get one that's new or reupholstered in original, it's really difficult. But you guys, I can see you've gone a step further to put in that sort of old Japanese kind of like takumism, or they call it in Japanese. That explains to like craftsmanship of like, you know, high-level workmanship that Japan is very, very famous for. And it's not just in making metal or mechanical parts. Fabric, I mean, we can go back to talk about like ukiyo-e art, urushi, you know, that sort of thing. But the high-tech industry, like making, I'm just gonna, can I touch it?
Yes.
You know, just the feel of this. Oh my goodness. I remember as a teenager walking into a showroom at Nissan or Toyota, and you know, you feel that seat. Even the smell smells like.
Well, the interesting
Original.
story behind the company that made the fabric for us is that they were the supplier for back then the Toyota Celsior.
The Toyota Celsior.
Lexus.
Right.
The first gen Lexus. LS, was it?
LS100?
Was it called?
That's right.
I think.
Yes.
Or like the Century cars.
Oh yeah, with
All
wool
the
upholstery.
high-end cars
Those are pure wool, you know.
in those
Yeah.
days.
Wow.
And they were the suppliers for the seats. And they actually supplied all the seat fabric for the Shinkansen, which, you know,
That's a similar
the
fabric.
bullet train.
The bullet train.
Yes,
Yes,
the
yes.
bullet train.
Yes.
And yeah, these guys are very old school, old type factory back in Wakayama.
Wakayama,
Yeah.
which is south of Osaka in the Kansai region. So you can see from this reference videos here, this weaving machine, how they make these old fabrics, and that's the same thing that goes into
Right,
these
right.
cars.
We made the design and they weaved it for us, just for our project.
fantastic.
So we'll actually have the same fabric for the EG6 used as well.
So this will become like the Builtbylegends motif
Yeah,
touch.
and yeah, I forgot to mention that when we designed it or when we built the project, we wanted to stay with the Japanese craftsmanship, the legends in Japan.
Right.
And then when we thought about an iconic legend symbol for Japan, we came up with the idea of Mount Fuji, which is what
Oh, is that
we
what?
designed.
Is that what these little curved
the
motors
seats,
are?
the fabrics.
Mount Fuji fabric. Could you tell us a little bit more also about the overall, what makes this Mines 32 in concept different from what Mines have built until now?
The car's been teared down, taken apart to its bare chassis. It's been repainted. All the bolts have been replaced with new bolts.
Fantastic.
The company that worked on the chassis is called Garage Yoshida.
It's another
And-
famous.
Yes, and Yoshida-san has been working with Mines, and he actually builds the chassis for the demo car, Mines demo cars.
I see.
So what we did was we really built the car from scratch. So everything, the interior, the engine parts, the transmission, everything is like it's a brand new car.
Oh. So is that the concept, to build something that's almost like a brand new car, plus the tuning from legendary tuners, plus
Right.
your own little motifs, and this will be like a new generation resto-modded new car that your customer,
Right.
who buy this,
Right.
can treasure as something like a one-off art piece, so to speak.
Yeah.
Later on, are you going to plan to build more, explore into other models as well?
Yes, we are. Yeah, yes, we will. It doesn't necessarily have to be an R32. But this is really a showcasing of what our concept is, what we can do. As you might know, it's really difficult to work with multiple companies in Japan
Yes.
because of the physical distance, maybe language.
Right,
But because we've been working in the industry as content producers, we've had the relationship with Mind, Spoon, and other companies. We're able to coordinate that very well.
Right. But of course, like physically going to those places, bringing the car back and forth, you have to go to like the other ends of Japan.
And you really need to go to their locations and talk to them. You have to explain to them what you want to do, and you have to make them understand. You know, we're not just building a car just to make a quick buck.
Right.
I mean, we want to build a car that we really want to drive, an iconic car that we actually would want to keep.
This is like a passion project.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yes.
And then what you would love to drive and see at like the highest level, and you like whoever would then appreciate and purchase this car to enjoy that new level of completeness, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we're not building cars that are like 1,000 horsepowers or a track-only car. We're building street cars.
Yes.
The right way.
The right way,
Yeah.
with good taste.
Yes, with good taste.
Good taste.
Yes.
With good taste. That's an important word, actually. In the internet world now of 1,000 horsepower Civic builds and 1,000 horsepower GTRs, and you do.
I mean, that's one way to enjoy.
That's one way to
cars.
enjoy
Yes,
cars.
yes,
Certainly.
Of course.
But it's not what the original design concept was. Not what the engineers intended, so to speak.
Not
really.
Not that I believe. Yeah.
Not that I believe either. I think that's something that we JDM Masters and maybe Built by Legends and GD Channel have
In common. Right.
With that. I personally feel sometimes that back in the 90s, a lot of manufacturers had limitations with certain things like budgeting, for example.
Or even horsepower.
There was a 280 horsepower
Right.
gentleman's limit. I mean, it was very clear the R32 GTR, when it was launched, was in reality maybe more than about 300 unrestricted, something like that. And that's more than enough. That's more than enough.
And I think our concept really resonates with Minds, what their company is about, what their tuning is about.
That's
because
right.
Nikura-san at Minds is also very, very keen on balance,
Yeah.
He doesn't go for maximum power. He likes to make his cars light, of course. He doesn't like to, tear apart the car, take out the back seat and whatnot.
It's always still streetable.
It's always intact.
Right.
Right.
It's got to have aircon.
Yes, of course. Of course.
In Japan, you can't survive without aircon in the summer. So you guys are like taking that a little bit further with your original ideas of just putting the final touches. It's like the seats, for example.
Right.
And just that completeness. For example, the front lip is carbon fiber.
Yes,
But it's built in exactly the same original OEM bumper style.
Right.
Small touches like that. The exhaust tip is, you were telling me, it's actually a little higher and hidden inside.
Right. We intentionally did that because we didn't want like a big muffler hanging out the back, shining in silver.
Right.
We wanted to make it subtle.
Subtlety, that is fantastic. The other parts of the car can be accentuated.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the car itself, I mean, you don't need to scream that it's a nice car. It's a nice car originally, right?
Absolutely agree. The 32 especially is a timeless shape.
Yes, I think so.
We are going to be doing a very detailed video on this Minds Built by Legends R32 GTR when it's done, set up and everything. Obviously, there's some small touches that need, so watch out for that in future episodes. In closing, we are really excited, those fans of JDM cars and tuning around the world. I think this is something that's in the hearts of many enthusiasts, and you guys are actually answering that call, that dream to build something really, in our opinion at JDM Masters, really tasteful and refined, and showing the best parts of Japanese culture, technical culture. Really looking forward to that.
Yes, yes. We'll surely let you know when the car is complete and ready to be driven.
Woo, can't wait for that, can't wait for that. Even more exciting stuff will also come. We will be doing some collaboration in future, both our channels, and watch out for that.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
Masa-san.
coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. That was a quick introduction to Built by Legends and their two key projects. And we'll be coming back in the future. Look forward to be working with them and watch out for our videos in future, more collaborations and stuff, and an in-depth look into the technology or the methods, what real JDM is about. And so we'll be exploring that. Let us know in the comments what you think of these projects, and if you'd like to see other kinds of cars and what kind of shops, and let us know. Until next time, peace out.